Hi everyone, it's Danny. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with another layout for the Confessions of a Paper Addict cut files design team, and I'm using one of the brand new release cut files from the most recent release, and I'm using In the Burbs. So it's this cute, super cute lineup of little houses and trees, and I'm going to use both parts of the cut file, so you do get these two separate pieces, the two rows of houses, and I'm going to be using the Pebbles the Avenue collection because it is just perfect for this cut file. There are lots of houses and trees and things like that in this collection, and I think this cut file may have been inspired by this collection. I'm not sure, but it certainly looks like it was, so that's a really nice match, I think. So I'm going ahead and backing the whole cut file today. I'm not doing anything super out of the box today with my cut file. I'm just going to back it like normal and make a pretty layout. I have some photos of my two kids walking together holding hands. They were walking around my uni campus, I think the start of 2019, so actually fairly recent for me. I usually scrap quite a few years behind, but I really wanted to get this particular photo paired with this cut file because they just work so nicely together. So I've just taken, I have a scrap of wood grain there that I'm using to back the trunks of the trees, and that's the only thing I use that isn't part of this collection. The rest is from the collection, and I'm just going to back, I think I've used the 6x8 paper pad for all of the back in the cut file. I'm just going through and tracing out the center, cutting my piece out slightly larger than my pencil line, and then gluing with wet glue. There we go. It's all glued down. And I'm just going to show you how I do the cut files that have little separate inside pieces like this. So I keep the part that you would normally discard and I just tuck it inside the cut file. And I just added glue not too close to the edge for these windows. You don't want to add it too much glue because it will ooze out and glue the backing piece down. There you go. You can just peel the center part out and it's all positioned perfectly. It's definitely the easiest way to do that in my opinion. You just have to make sure you don't go too close to the edge with your glue and glue that negative space piece down because you do want to be able to peel that up. So I'm going to use this gingham pink check background. I actually pulled it just to kind of lay out where my bits and pieces were going to go on a 12 by 12. I was intending to use a different paper, but this actually just, it worked the nicest, I think. All the other backgrounds were either a little bit too busy or a bit too dark. This is just really, yeah, really nice, light, pretty background. So I'm going to go with it. I'm just taking some white gesso here and I'm going to do a little bit of mixed media, not too much. I just really want somewhere for those rows of houses to land, to sit, because they look like they're just kind of floating in midair at the moment. So I'm just going to add some gesso just below that line. And I'm just using a makeup sponge. It's just a cheap dollar shop one to sponge this on. It gives a nice soft edge, not too thick finish. I really like that. So there you go. I'm just blending that out, making sure there's no harsh edges. And then I'm going to come in with a Distress Oxide. I'm just using the ink pad in Chipped Sapphire. It's a really nice, really dark navy. And I'm just adding a tiny bit of water on a bit of packaging there to make a nice inky paint. And then I'm just going to brush this on, just where that gesso was. So I'm not being careful about how I place this. I'm just splodging it on, following that rough outline of the gesso. It does go a little bit over the edge. I don't care about that either. It's going to be quite soft, even though it's quite a dark color. Once the Distress Oxides dry, I feel like they dry quite a bit lighter than they go on wet. And I am adding some swatches here. You can see I'm adding some areas where I'm letting the ink pool so that it's not all the one depth. And then just a little bit of splatter all the way around. So I really love navy and pink together, and both my kids are wearing some navy in the photo, so it ties in really nicely. So there you go, you can see it's all dried and it is quite light now that it's all dry. I'm going to add some adhesive foam to my cut file because I love doing this with my cut files, and I'm just adding it to the tops of the houses. So I'm going to glue the bottom edge straight to the layout, and all the tops are going to be sitting up from the layout, so you'll get that nice dimensional shadow effect. There we go, and I'll do that to both parts of the cut file. And this is just single-sided adhesive foam from any craft store. think most craft stores have it. I get mine from Spotlight, and I've got some from the Reject Shop as well, actually. So now I'm just going in with my glue, and I'm just adding a strip along that bottom strip and then a little bit just to the base of the houses. So I'm not adding glue all the way to the top, just sticking it down just like that, and this is going to be perfectly adequate to keep those all stuck down. I do use a tacky glue, it is quite strong, so just bearing that in mind. Go, it's all stuck down. And now I'm going to add my photos in. So this bottom one I'm just going to tuck right between that, in that little gap, I suppose, between those two houses. And the other one I'm just going to put just to the side there. The edge of that tree sort of tucks around the top of that negative space in the photo nicely, so I like that placement. I am just going to mat this one on this, it's kind of like a bluish, greenish, tealish. It's definitely green, but it's got quite a bit of blue in it, buffalo plaid. And I'm just going to do a thin border of that all the way around this photo, just to kind of highlight this as the main photo. The other one I'm just going to leave on that white border. And I will just add a little bit of foam in this space as well, because it is foam at the top there. So I don't want my photo to kind of sit strangely at different angles or different levels. There we go, just glue that down with some tacky glue. And I'm going to just stick some double-sided tape behind this one. Just stick that all down. And now for embellishing. So I pulled out the ephemera, and I love that bicycle. I do get it on, actually, surprisingly. I think bicycles are one of those things that I really struggle to find a spot for, but this little street scene was just perfect for those pieces that might be a bit difficult to use otherwise. So I'm going to use quite a few of those trees. I did consider Mr. Snail, but he just wasn't quite right. I used quite a few of those birds as well. I think I bring in 3 birds in the end. I do like that red tree, but it just ends up overwhelming the layout a little bit. I also love that squirrel, but he was just a little bit too big. But I do manage to get one of the squirrels on a little bit later, as you'll see. So just going through, I think that's all that oh no, I do find this car. Again, another thing that I might struggle to use another time, but on this layout it was just perfect. And they're the perfect size in comparison to the cut file pieces as well. They fit really nicely. So I've just brought in another tree off the stick sheet there. That one's gold foiled. It's really nice. And that one, little pine tree, well, I think it's a pine tree, just tucks in nicely between those two houses there. I do love this little bird. I was struggling to place him because I didn't want to put him on the top of the photo. I did want to put him on the top of the photos, but I kind of felt like he looked like he might poop on them at any point. I know that sounds really strange, but I don't know. I just kind of think of birds perching as, ready to drop a bomb on you. So I do end up popping him on the top of that house. And I'm just going to use Family Time because they're brother and sister. And I like the scripty font. So just popping that in there. Not forgetting to put my eye dots in. Okay, so I'm just going to start gluing things down. I have added another little bird. I think that was a die cut, the one with the border. Oh no, that was a sticker. The one without the border is the die cut. And yeah, I just like the birds flying, so that's 3 birds in total. And I love working with odd numbers where I can. What next? So I'm just taking, this is the sticker pack, and I'm taking that little tiny word sticker that says best friends, and I just think it's sweet. They are very good friends. So there's my little squirrel. I finally managed to get him on. He's just a bit better size. That makes sense on the layout. He's really sweet, so cute, sitting under the tree there. I'm just adding a few little florals and leaves off this sticker sheet out of the sticker pack. I love these little florals. So I do build, I build that one cluster, and then I just sprinkle a few around where I think they can fill out the layout a little bit. I love that Main Street sticker. I think that was off the main sticker sheet, the accessory sticker, cardstock stickers, and it just fits really nicely. I'm going to add a tiny little acorn there as well, and then a little butterfly just in that part of the photo was just a bit too empty and bare looking to me, so he's going to sit just nicely on the top there. I'm just popping his wings up on foam, as I like to do. And the very last thing I'm going to do before I trim off the branding strip is add some Nouveau drops. These are the crystal drops in gloss white, and they're a fairly new addition to my stash, but I really am enjoying them. So I'm just going to do 3 groups of 3 around my layout, And that will be everything. So thank you so much for joining me today. Please check the description box for the link to this brand new beautiful cut file and to the shop and the Facebook group for Confessions of a Paper Addict cut files. And close-ups are coming up. I hope you enjoyed watching. I'll see you next time. Bye guys.